Hello and welcome to the first of hopefully quite a few of these. I figured it would be fun to sit down and sort of talk about the different events that Eileen and I go to, and maybe to give people an idea of what different events are doing. So this is the first of our event recap series that we're going to do on this channel, and I am joined by my beautiful wife, Eileen.
Hello there.
Hello.
Beautiful husband.
I think it's probably no secret that we like each other, so
Yeah, I like you a bit.
Yeah, so I thought we would do this kind of while recent events are fresh in our mind. But before we get into that, I just want to say to anybody listening, if you like what the Shirttail mess is all about and what I try to do here, I will put a link in the description. I've rolled out sort of a way for you to be a patron, if you so choose. None of this, none of the stuff that I'm doing currently is going to be behind a paywall or anything, but anything that you can throw. It's set up to be a monthly subscription plan, so $5, and you can support the blog and this podcast, and there'll be some perks with that as well. But I just wanted to mention that link will be in the description. So we just got back from Fort Michilimacinac in Mackinac City, up in Michigan.
Yes.
It was about a 7-hour drive from here in Dayton.
Yes, but it was a little longer than that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little longer. So I made the mistake of, we got on the road and everything was going on schedule, and arrival time was 8:30 and it was looking good. We were going to get there before dark, and we got an hour down the road and I forgot my jacket.
Poor darling.
So
you were so frustrated.
Yeah, I was pretty. I had a moment of hating my life for a second. And really, truth be told, I probably could have survived without the jacket, but it was the first time going to the event. I didn't know what we were kind of walking into, and so I didn't want to be unprepared.
Yeah, and we only had one friend there.
Yeah, one
or two people that we actually knew.
One or two people that we actually knew, so it was...
Didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. So I'm glad that we went back for it. But that put our arrival time back at 11. So we got there pretty late. But anyway, so the event that we went to, it was called Askin's People. And it's basically I guess it'd be basically an intensive interpretive weekend.
I agree with that.
Yeah, not intensive as in, like, gosh, you're just like constantly, I don't know. There was plenty of time for...
We were busy,
but there was a lot of time for kind of walking away for a minute and, seeing the fort and, but the purpose of the event, the purpose of the event is to kind of present what was going on at the fort and the surrounding area during the period of the Revolution and just before.
Right. This was the year 1775 specifically.
Right. Yeah. So they're following the 250th timeline with these, and it's centered around the merchant John Askin, who was what I understood was he was the government appointee at the site. So, basically overseeing the government, anything that's coming in and going out from the fort there. So the interpretive program was based around him and all the people that worked for him and all the adjacent sort of industries and little jobs that were happening that kind of all tie together and create a big an economy, basically a local economy that is part of a global economy. So is that a fair description?
Yes, it is.
So what was your impression kind of when we first got there, and what did you...
Well, we pulled in and it was dark.
Well, actually, let's back up. So we should say how we got kind of into this, because you were friends with somebody who has been part of it.
So I've been friends with a fellow named Marcio de Cunha. I hope I'm saying that right. For about 6 years now on the internet only. I haven't actually met him or his wife, Trisha, yet in person, but they are like reenacting power couple goals. They're just really cool, and they do really interesting things in the hobby. Their research is top notch, and they share their information with people. And anyway, so I had seen that this was something they were attending, and then our friend Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff Pavlik.
Yeah, that we met through the 13th Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
He goes up there, and we saw his photos too. So
what I understand, Jeff is sort of he kind of helped.
He's been there for a while.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I would see. I don't know how I got added to the group. I'm guessing maybe Marcio added me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just looking at the photos and what they were doing up there.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted in on that.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to make it work timing wise until this year. And then unfortunately, Marcio and his wife weren't able to make it. So maybe next year. But that's how I found out about it. I got added to some group.
Well, I think it's important too to talk about how like a lot of forts, that were built in an era when we were, people were starting, in the 20th century, it was like, oh, we're coming up on the bicentennial. All these, historic sites were starting to be preserved.
Right.
People were getting interested in that. So, like a lot of places, the site there, started to be built, and it's actually built. One of the cool things about it is it's actually built on the original site. It's not like a lot of forts where it's like, well, the original's over there, but they built this here,
Right. They said they've been doing archaeological digs there since 1959, and it's one of the longest running in the nation, if not the longest running. Yeah. And so anytime they excavate something new, then they figure out what was there and build it.
Yeah, and it's the archaeological exhibit there and the collections that they have is just, it's just unreal.
They're incredible.
It's really unreal. And a lot of, it's like stuff I'd seen in books,
right.
Now I'm seeing it, in person. So really cool. But a lot of sites started, as a lot of different sites, what did they do there? Well, they had a rendezvous back in the day, and they had, and I think if you're wanting to attend an event like this, I think it's important to kind of understand this context, is that a lot of those sites who had, they had a rendezvous, or they had a just sort of a generic
market fair
or a battle reenactment. Some sites have decided that they don't want to put their story, meaning the site's story, in the hands of people who really actually don't know anything about the site. They're just there to sort of, they're just there to sort of like play old timey, and so I think what a lot of sites have done is they said, we're going to do everything in-house. All of our interpretive programs, everything's just, we're going to be in control of the story. And, that has caused, when that happens, it definitely causes a bit of a stir, because people are so, they're dedicated to what they've always been doing. So I think the fort there is one of these places that has decided, hey, we're going to do high-level programming. We're not going to entrust the story to people that don't want to actually do some work and do some research. So when you, we were sent a lot of material ahead of the event. We didn't get quite as much time as maybe we would have liked to kind of go through the material. So, we knew.
We just went on our anniversary vacation like a week before.
Yeah, we were gone. And so, we decided to go. And I think we knew that, like, for instance, like, we knew that we could pass muster on the clothing standards and the things that they were asking on that side of things. But they want people there that are going to help with interpretation. And so it was kind of cool because we were able to kind of plug into that, what was already there, and learned a lot ourselves.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But we provided, we were basically an extra set of hands for people. That was kind of our goal going in, was like, just tell us what to do.
Right. I didn't want to say like, oh, I'm going to be, laundress or whatever, and show up and learn, there's already someone doing that, having never been to the site before. So for me, yeah, I definitely wanted to be, a spare set of hands and kind of fill in where needed. I have a good basic overview knowledge of what women are up to in the 18th century that I felt like I could kind of plug in wherever help was needed and suss it out this year, and then go back next year with more of a plan in place.
Yeah. So we both, so we got there, they put us up in one of the buildings. We didn't get a great night's sleep just because got there late. I slept okay, but yeah, you kind of struggled that first night.
I don't know what was going on. I think just nerves. I just wanted to do a good job, and I psyched myself up.
Well, it happened. I mean, it happens, but you survived. We got coffee in you, and then
yes, essential.
So the next day consisted of, Saturday. The event opened at 9. There was a meeting with everybody. They did a really good job of just kind of getting everybody
briefed
and on the same page, and the site director, Leanne, she just did an incredible job of keeping everybody,
oh yeah,
not just keeping everybody on track, but making sure all the needs were being met. I mean, she just was constantly around everywhere, just making sure people were good. And, so that was awesome. A good site director and a good staff, really make the world go round when it comes to stuff like this.
Oh yeah. And they had both those things there.
Yeah. Really awesome. So, so we were with Jeff Pavlik and Kim
Parr, I believe.
Kim Parr,
and his lovely fiance.
Yes, and they were just phenomenal all weekend to hang out with, and you did a lot of cooking.
I did.
And
it's kind of funny because I don't love doing it in real life, but give me a fireplace and a hearth and make it as complicated as possible, and I have a bunch of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, and I just sort of I was kind of in that position of just tell me what to do, extra hands. So
you did something very interesting this
hauled
weekend,
water,
didn't you?
And yeah. So Jeff and I rendered a bunch of bear fat and made.
It smelled really great.
It smelled really good. I think it smells good.
Oh, you do actually?
Yeah, it's a nice. It's a nice sort of like one of those guy smells. Maybe.
All right.
I don't know. Just like
I can see that.
But but it was a lot of fun. We rendered. He had like just a guy.
So much of it.
He had a lot of it. I mean, we filled probably 3-gallon trade kettles full of bear fat that we then put over the fire and rendered down. So, so there was a lot of bear oil.
Passing it out like party favors on the last day.
Yep. And so I got me a jar and got one for Matthew Fenwald, and so we're in good shape with bear oil around here.
Yes, we're all stocked up.
So just cooking through the day. the public was coming through, and there was a lot of opportunity to talk to them. And the good thing about Jeff and being with Jeff is the man is a encyclopedia of knowledge of that area, and I mean just knowledge in general. And he really knows how to tie everything together.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch.
Yeah, I mean he's a just an amazing interpreter. And you know, like interpretation, like public interpretation is really not my cup of tea in terms
I love it.
I know. And it's not that I don't enjoy it kind of when it's happening, but like it's not, I don't really, if I've said this before, like there are people in this hobby who if the public wasn't there to educate, they wouldn't do this hobby. I am not that person. I don't care if there's a public. I'm gonna put on weird clothes. And I'm gonna go out.
You
in the
do that
woods.
around the house anyway.
Yeah, I'm you know, I'm always doing that. So the public is not the impetus for me, but it is for a lot of people. I don't need the public to enjoy history and do it for myself.
I like both. It's really fun to share the information that you have and see people's faces when you tell them things like, you know, fabric's really expensive, but labor to make clothes is really cheap, and how ingenious the clothes, they look silly, you know, they look like, why would you wear all those layers and why would you wear that? But actually they're pretty ingenious when you get to talking about them and thinking about them.
Oh yeah. And
so
like,
I love that kind of thing.
Oh,
I could give you a whole lecture on that right now. We're not going to do that.
Well, it's no, and I once I'm kind of in it and I'm doing it, I don't mind it.
You do a good job.
Yeah, and I like talk. I mean, you know, I like talking.
You like talking?
Why we're here sitting doing this, but so for me, like, since that's not my main thing, like I really enjoyed myself. I really had a good time, and the public coming through, when you have Jeff, sort of the encyclopedia, talking, you know, you can pick up a lot of stuff that you can then use when Jeff's not there. So like, you know, that's kind of how we kind of like learned on the fly about like sure. John Askins, and like really got some context. And so, you know, a story Jeff would tell, you know, I'd like put that in my mind, like, okay, if he's not in here, like
mind grapes.
I'll lean into that. Yeah. In my mind grapes. I'll lean into that, you know? So like, I remember the story about like John Askin's wife, you know, getting the periodicals and seeing the fashion plates and being like, I want this. And so he orders all the silk fabric and it doesn't arrive. And he's like writing letters like, where's my wife's fabric?
She's nagging me about it.
And so that was, you know, just to illustrate the global nature of, you know, the economy.
Right. Yeah, because they had actual china that they dug up there at the site that came from China. Mm-hmm. And then he also told a story about someone that was ordering flour from France, from his hometown in France.
Yeah.
Because he didn't like the local flour.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, it's just stories like that I think confound people when the expectation is like, oh, you know, this is the frontier.
Yeah. Everything's homespun and homegrown. And actually, that's not the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are kind of surprised to learn that kind of stuff. So that is cool to like see
that,
people.
Like people are only like a year behind in the fashion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which, you know, that's always the thing in reenacting that we fight against, is like this concept that like everybody's just, you know, wearing their granddad's, you know, clothes or whatever. It's like you wouldn't do that today, you know, and they weren't doing it then, you know. Not in any big way, you know.
Right, you would remake clothes for sure.
Yeah,
but
the, you know, the idea that
in the prevailing fashion.
Yeah, if you're, you know, and you just think about that, like if you're like a 20-something-year-old dude, you don't want to dress, and it's 1775, you know, you don't want to dress like it's 1750. Like, you're not doing that.
No.
You know,
you're not going to impress any ladies doing that.
No, like, you gotta keep up with the what's happening, and human. I mean, we've always done that. It's like hasn't changed. Like, I mean, being fashion sensitive is still something we're very conscious of today, and they were definitely conscious of now. It's not a new phenomenon.
No, not at all.
So, all right. So we did all that. Then we went out.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I think you were about to say.
Well,
one of the highlights.
One of the absolute the highlights was we went out on a 40-foot canoe. They have several boats there, and they actually, I think, I didn't get the full story, but I overheard that they acquired a few boats from like a maritime museum that was local there that was closing down.
Oh, cool! I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, and so a couple of those boats were from that, but they do have a real birch bark canoe that's smaller, and then they have a 40-foot,
which we got asked to go out in, but we had to scoot. That was Sunday.
Yeah,
that would have been amazing.
That was kind of a bummer, but
next time maybe.
Next time, but then, but the 40-foot canoe is fiberglass. It's a fiberglass, painted to look like birch bark. But when you get out there and from a distance, it looks great.
That was so amazing.
And when you're sitting in it and you're paddling and you see the fort and you see, it really doesn't matter.
I was definitely not pretending to be a voyager.
Yeah, it would definitely put you in the, but we had a full we had a full crew on the boat, and everybody paddling, and it was just really,
that was so fun.
It was awesome. We kind of,
and so tiring.
Yes. We embarked and we went up towards the fort, and then turned around and came back, and then we went all the way under the bridge.
That was neat. Yeah.
That goes across
out to Mackinac Island.
Mackinac Island, and up in, that basically takes you towards the UP, and that was awesome. So yeah, just that was a real highlight.
A treat. Yeah.
So
and now we're like, okay, we need a canoe.
Yeah. So yeah,
we need a canoe in our lives.
We do. So that was an awesome, that was just such a cool thing to do. And it's kind of, I think doing things like that kind of illustrate to me the, circling back to the event and why the event exists, and why, so, people who are listening to this, like, if you get really cool opportunities. I'm not saying that like the only cool opportunities exist if you reenact in a certain way, but some of these sites that have a more progressive mind about their interpretation and what they're trying to do, it's not that the event is exclusive, but it's a very tightly run application process, and so there are benefits to. Yeah,
I think like someone who's in the group has to kind of vouch for you.
Yeah, it's sort of like I don't want to say that it's invite only, but it's definitely. It kind of is. Yeah, I guess I should say that it is, because it is kind of invite only. I think there is like volunteer applications and things that you can do like that. So I don't think it's fully just invite only, but there are requirements. So if you want to volunteer, if you want to do things like this, I guess what I'm trying to drive home is there are benefits to, go ahead and shave your beard, go ahead and try to do this, because man, there's just so many cool things that you can go experience just by adapting and following some rules, and it's, we just had a great weekend. It was really, really awesome.
My other favorite part is eating all the things that we made.
Oh yeah.
During the day, there was some
cheesecake. There was a
roast beef that was really good.
Yeah, a currant pie.
There were some punches that were delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the currants were growing there at the fort, and a lot of people will go and harvest things from the gardens.
Yeah.
At the fort to make what they're cooking for the feast in the evening.
Yeah.
As part of their demo. So that was pretty cool. It was pretty fresh.
Oh yeah, and the gardens there are just beautiful.
So
and
pretty.
Just
So many ideas for future gardens here.
yes, yeah. We definitely we were taking notes, about what we could do on our own property just by seeing their kitchen gardens and stuff. But yeah, really, just 10 out of 10, awesome
Yeah.
site. Like
Everyone's so nice, so
Yeah.
knowledgeable, so helpful.
yeah, so willing to help. And I think that's another, one of the other myths to dispel is that people who do all this progressive reenacting, they're all just, a bunch of big meanie heads that don't want people to have fun or be.
I haven't found that to be the case at all. It's just like
No.
people were really passionate about it and want to share their passion with people.
Yeah.
So we went in with like 2 people that we know, but I feel like we left with a whole bunch of new friends.
Oh yeah. Yeah. A bunch of friends. There's a lot of people came over from like Fort Niagara, and so that there's kind of a
Fort Connecticut.
yeah, there's kind of like a crossover from other sites that are related, sites that would have been contemporaries of the
May
site
I go
there.
on a tangent?
Go on a tangent.
Can I? Okay. Yeah, I just remember like the 4th Connecticut, I saw them at Miggs for the first time probably in like, I don't know, 2019, 2018. And they were doing such a good job. And I didn't know anything about like progressive reenactors. But when I saw them, I was like, oh, that's cool. And that's kind of the type of stuff I want to do. So it's pretty neat to like hook up with them again at Michilimacinac.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you can you can just you can tell, and it's not about. I think this idea that like it's about I don't know, being cool or like I just want to like hang out, it's really just finding the stuff that appeals to you. And I think when I saw stuff like that for the first time, I can remember I was thinking about this the other day. We were talking about this, and I thought I was trying to remember what those moments were for me, and I'd kind of forgotten. But right when I was getting into quote unquote progressive reenacting, or my mind was headed that way, but I didn't know kind of what to do with that. I knew I wanted to be accurate, but I didn't know how to like enact that. But one of the people for me was Michael Ramsey, who is now I think at Colonial Williamsburg, and he's a tailor, and he just always looked so good. Everything was tailored and really really good. And he'd go to events and he'd be dressed that way, and like some guy in walnut dye and whatever would come up and be like, oh, you're like you're awful fancy or whatever.
Yeah, you
and
must be from Boston.
you
or
must
something.
be from, and it's funny because it's like, no, this is just like what people wore, but it doesn't look like your expectations of like out in the backcountry, but this is just what people wore.
Yeah, and people's clothes there were great.
Oh yeah,
phenomenal.
Yeah,
I love the clothes.
The clothes are.
I'll admit it. It's like one of the big draws for me.
Yeah, well, historical fashion and it's always been, always been an interest of yours and always been an interest of mine. And anyway, so you see things and you're attracted to it. And that's what you want to do. Like, and part of that time for me too was like, I remember Albert Roberts with HMS Acosta. Like, they were just doing such cool stuff and like so immersive, and their whole thing was like first person, so that added
not my favorite.
Yeah, I mean it all depends.
I like when people do it. I like to see it, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah, it's
not good
some
on the
people
fly.
Some people should not do it, and some people should. Not everybody is very good at improv, but it adds a dimension. But anyway, they were just so. It was really cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, we got to go out to the beach that night. They have like right there on the lake. We went out on the lake for a little bit that evening, and then we went back and sang some songs with our new friends. That was fun.
Yeah. went to bed, and then got up the next day and kind of did it all over again. A little bit more laid back on Sunday.
Yeah, we weren't cooking.
Yeah, we weren't cooking, and the crowd was not as intense. I did a little bit of weaving.
You did. That's right. I showed you your
tape loom.
quick study.
And so that was fun, and yeah, we just had a really good time.
Mm-hmm. And we got to go back out on the boat.
Yeah, and then second boat trip, and when we pulled into shore, we looked up, and there was Captain Halfpipe.
That's right,
Alan Krause and his wife Lisa, and we kind of said hi, and then we said bye.
Yeah,
because the boat ride was our last little thing we did, and then we went home.
We did.
Yeah. So it was a fun trip.
It was a fun trip.
So 10 out of 10.
11 out of 10.
11 out of 10.
That might be my new favorite site.
Yeah, it was really great. So highly recommend. If it's something that you are interested in, the best way would be to reach out to an individual that already is attending, or the site itself, and just kind of see, suss it out. Like I said, there will be, they will be looking to make sure that you
will need to do your homework.
Yeah, you need to do your homework. It's not.
I will be reading about nothing but the fur trade from here on out.
Yeah, it's like pretty. It's got us pretty amped up.
I was on a pilgrim kick.
Yeah.
Thanks to our Massachusetts vacation, but
yeah.
But yeah, like there will be homework, but it'll be worth it, and you can get plugged in and make a bunch of new friends and have an awesome time. And we definitely intend to do our best to return next year.
Oh yeah,
with more knowledge and more things to contribute. So yeah, awesome. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for listening, and as always, you can find me on Instagram and everywhere else on the internet. Basically just Instagram and Facebook, and here on YouTube. But yeah, we'll be doing more of these. We got some stuff coming up. We have
a very busy September.
We're doing something local here, and then we're going to do Fort Migs, doing a little muster up there.
Support our buddy Bryce.
Yep. And then Bledsoe's muster and rifle frolic. If you haven't, go ahead and get registered. And
I think I need a silk gown for that one. I get to be the captain's wife.
You probably need a silk gown. So
I probably do. I'm going to go buy some silk right after this.
All right. Let's go. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and see you next time.